G'day guys, I am going to keep this really short and sweet. Now the last time I said that, which was in the preview, I went for half an hour. Half an hour. I don't want to kick the club when they're down. I really don't, because I was bitterly disappointed after after yesterday's loss. That's the first time I've felt genuine disappointment this year with a loss. And I don't want the club to align with my feelings. I really don't. But I'm trying to understand why I felt so disappointed yesterday. And I was actually sitting watching that game and really sort of wanting us to win that game of football. It was probably around the fact that the intensity and I think the thing that was sort of I looked at was kind of the camaraderie at the start of that game, and the fact that they didn't look like they wanted to be stood over by Fremantle on the road. They looked invested, they looked strong, they were hunting in numbers, and that excited me. I must admit, that excited me. Like, that's what I want to see from a group. Yeah, I want to see that intensity. I want to see that unity. And not even being at the ground, I could see it. But that kind of where it stops for me, because I think it was a bad loss in the end. I really do. And my concern, and it has been for the last month or so, and I've spoken this ad nauseum in my videos around the PR machine, and I think it was the worst Michael Voss press conference I've heard. I really do. I felt like it was bordering on disgusting, and I don't say that lightly either. And I understand it's a tough gig post game to be able to get up there and talk. But I put these pictures up when they're leaving the ground, and essentially, who are you talking to here in a press conference? You're talking to the fans. I mean, that's what a press conference is for. They're talking to the fans. This is the images of the players coming off the ground. You can see the disappointment there. You can also see the disappointment post-game of Michael Voss as he comes from the ground. That doesn't necessarily look like a group that was happy with the loss. I mean, that was pure disappointment. And you look, they went to the game to win. You don't go out there for 4 quarters, which they did, and put in that type of commitment and effort to lose a game of football. And I feel it's unacceptable once again, because this is a game which we were in total control of. But I did feel like it was a little bit different. I did, because of that camaraderie. Wet, windy, difficult conditions, had the opposition second guessing, and really the opposition, as much as they are probably maturing as a team, they are at times do have I'm not saying a soft underbelly, but they do have a tendency not necessarily not to turn up. But if you like any club, if you really put the heat on them, and they can't find a way, they can't find a way. But they did find a way out of a tough situation, Fremantle. I'm not here to talk about them, though, in regards to their, what it looks like for them moving forward. Must be terribly exciting to be right in the hunt. But to let them pretty much double their own score in the last quarter and control the game kind of after half time, and we never really, other than the effort, we never looked like probably hitting the scoreboard or couldn't get a lot of flow on the game. And once again, it comes down to execution. It comes down to moments. It comes down to methodology. So it's either clearance and stoppage, domination in the middle of the ground, and the ability to lock it in your front half and then set up strong behind the ball. But that's about it. That's about it for us. So that's one thing. So to lose that game in the position we were in, and it's no shame to lose, but once again in the same kind of manner in which we've lost for the whole year. And people will then go, oh, okay, we had half of our side out, whatever you're going to say. But this has been a consistent thing, even when we were bloody healthy, relatively healthy. And you can't put yourself in a winning position like that and think it's acceptable to lose like that in the end. And my problem, guys, is once again the messaging post-game and this real shift of the club. And I feel like fans are being hoodwinked, and it's their right to do that. They've got to try and keep the fans happy, sell hope, buy memberships, stay on board. That's their job, and I've said this countless times that they do it very well. And it feels like that press conference by Michael Voss, if I got no idea if he's going to remain at the club in 2026. I really don't know which way it's going to go. But that's him speaking. And that's his take on the situation. But we've got massive problems with him. We really do, because he's speaking to us, the fans. And is he, and I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist here, but they went there to win that game of football because it is a competition. We went into this season with massive expectations, and even when we weren't going that well in the first half of the season, it was said we're going to finish this season really strongly, and the focus is winning games of football. We go over to the West, and regardless of whether externally whether we thought we were going to win or not, internally they went there to win, and not to get the job done again and then sell it after the game to us. But that was an amazing effort, and not one mention of being bitterly or just disappointed in the fact that they couldn't execute. They couldn't finish off that game after being in total control. Not one mention of that. And how disappointing that is again. And then to say, the only thing to say after that was maturity that got us in the end, and we had 6 players who played less than 25 games. And no mention to the fact that we still had enough experience, and more than enough experience on the park, to be able to win that game of football. Nick Haynes, 231 games. Patrick Cripps, 227 games. Adam Saad, 213 games. Jacob Wiedering, 201 games. George Hewitt, 199 games. Blake Acres, 184 games. Williams, 171 games. Harry Mackay, 137 games. Tom De Koning, 97 games. Nearly played 100. Fogarty, 88 games. Picknett, 80. Lewis Young, 77 games. Ollie Hollins has now clocked up 62 games at the level. 62 games at the level. Corey Durden, 61 games. Motlop's played 61 games. Francis Evans, at his third AFL club, has played 41 games. And even Lockie Cowan has been a semi-regular player in this football club now for 3 years, down back, knows the system, has played 37 games. And all those young players that he wanted to reference, the 6 young players. Flynn Young's 23. Now, I understand he's a mid-season draft pick. He's still young at the level, but he's a mature body. Will White's 21. Matthew Carroll's second year. He's played quite a bit of football this year. Cooper Lord, he mentioned in the press conference that Cooper Lord is mature. He's got a mature head on his shoulders. Second-year player. Ashton Moyer, second-year player. The only first-year player we had in the team was Harry O'Farrell, and he went off. And what tragic news that is. He went off the ground, which allowed us to bring on another experienced player in Corey Durden, who's played 61 AFL games. There was enough experience there. Essendon had 6 first-year players playing for them on the weekend, and Richmond had 6 first-year players playing for them on the weekend. That's youth. That's youth there. And I'm not here to talk about Richmond or Essendon, but this sell is and to not to acknowledge once in that press conference that they had a job to do to win a game of football and they could not get it done, and there was enough there on the park to get it done, is not the way it should be in a year where you go into a season with the expectations of playing finals football and finishing top four. And to sit here with 3 games to go of the year, can understand that the season's done, but the focus is always on winning, but it's not even acknowledged, in my book, is an absolute disgrace.